All right. Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Have you ever felt like you're seeing everybody else get so much so much farther, so much faster, and it's like, wow, they must have so much talent. They must have so much innate ability. I just have no idea how this person is doing it, right? Uh, we're gonna explore that because today's topic. And for those of you on TikTok, you cannot see anything I'm describing here or showing on screen because I'm doing it on YouTube. If you want to see everything that I'm showing on screen, sharing on screen, then you can join my YouTube live stream. But yeah, if you're on TikTok, no worries. You're going to get lots of value from this as well, just from what I'm going to talk about. So let's talk about it. What even kind of qualifies me to talk about this topic? Well, I have so much, as you can see here. I have designed curricula meaning curriculums, right? Curricula. I have designed curricula for not only just academic stuff, right? As you could see, I ran an SAT prep school for a while, have tutored and taught for years and years and years. It's about maybe a total of 15 years now, in all different topics. It's got to be, right, everything from physics to French to to the SAT prep, to all sorts of test prep, to everything. And then also on the non-academic side, on the practical side, teaching and coaching salespeople and sales teams. So there's that side of it as well. In entrepreneurship and business. So it's on the practical side and the theoretical side. And the thing is that here's the truth of the matter. All learning actually has a structure. All learning. It doesn't matter if you're learning physics. It doesn't matter if you're learning French. It doesn't matter if you're learning sales and marketing and advertising. And it doesn't matter if you're learning entrepreneurship and logistics. And hi to everyone joining on TikTok. Hi to everyone joining on YouTube. I'm trying to do two simultaneous streams here, so bear with me. Those of you on TikTok, you're not going to see, once again, you're not going to see what I'm showing on the screen here. I'm only showing that on my YouTube live stream. But if you want to see everything I'm showing on screen, feel free to join my YouTube live stream. But anyway, either way, you're going to get tons of value out of this. So all learning has all learning has a common structure. So what are the two types of skills in the first place? What are the two types of skills? There are really practical skills and there are academic skills, right? There are, in practical skills, let's talk about practical skills. Marketing, sales, logistics, coding. These are things that you might actually end up using for your career, using to level up in business, using, for high income skills and what have you. So there are all sorts of ways to use practical skills. They're immediately useful. But how about academic skills? Academic skills are things like physics, French, biology. Even if you're studying for whatever, it could be anything from the SAT in high school to the ASVAB if you're joining the military, the Marines, right? It doesn't matter what you're learning. It actually all has a structure and a common structure. And we're going to learn that structure right now. We're going to learn that structure. And we're going to learn not only the structure, but we're going to learn the strategies. There are 5 strategies. So stay tuned for everybody who is just logging on. Stay tuned for the 5 strategies of top performers in terms of skills, in terms of high income skills, in terms of academic skills. There are 5 strategies top performers use to get ahead. So strategy number one is get a tutor. Or a study group. Okay, so before you say, oh, okay, I don't have a tutor, I can't afford a tutor, I can't afford a teacher, I can't afford a coach. That's okay. I just want to let you know that's okay because that's why I said strategy number one is to get a tutor, a coach, or a study group, right? The next best thing, obviously the best thing you could do is get somebody to teach you and coach you one-on-one, right? But if you can't get somebody to teach you and coach you one-on-one because maybe funds are limited, I get it, right? Then you can join a study group. And yeah, I need a lot of coffee today. So bear with me. I need a lot of coffee today. All right. So All right, this is my second cup. So a study group, many of you might say, okay, well, I've done study groups before. I've been involved with study groups before, but they're not that effective. And I will agree with you. Many times we are in study groups, and this, again, it applies to all sorts of skills. Sometimes we're in a study group and we say, oh, well, I didn't get anything out of that. Well, who wants to learn how to get the most out of the study group, right? Well, guess what? I'm going to show you how to do that right now. You're going to get a ton out of study groups after these tips. So tips for an effective study group. Again, with whatever you're studying, whatever you're implementing, whatever you're building, whatever skill you're learning, whether that's to make money, to get higher in your career, or you want to just get ahead in school or some degree that you're working on. Number one, most important thing is to meet on a fixed schedule. A fixed schedule is so key because a lot of people will say, oh, I'll, attend a study group this time. And then, and then maybe next week it's fine. We will skip it. But the time, everybody, and I know this is easier said than done, everybody needs to be able to agree on a time to meet up. All right. And it's hard to get a huge group of people to do that, but all you really need is 2 to 3 people to agree to meet up for a study group on a fixed schedule. And then you're off to the races. You can get a lot done. Have everyone work on an assignment and work through it together in the following session. And we'll actually talk about some examples of that. So what does that mean? Especially if it's a non-academic skill, right? So academic skills, that's obvious. Work on a problem set, probably the textbook or whatever that you're working from has a lot of examples, or you can find lots of materials somewhere, or you can ask a professor or whatever. But here's the thing. If you're learning, for instance, marketing skills or sales skills or advertising skills or coding or whatever that is, well, then we need to have a little bit of a different approach. So an assignment, let's say if you're working on a business and you want to get better at advertising or running ads and things like that, well, then what that might look like is everybody comes to the study session every week. And for, let's say, 1 week, you'll have an assignment to say, okay, everybody, let's do like a very, very doable, something very, very doable, like a, $5 budget ad. Okay, let's all do a $5 budget ad, and everybody, let's try whatever design we're going to use, whatever copywriting strategy. Let's all try something. And then next week, we'll come back and we'll discuss the results. And that's key because when you actually come back to the study group every time, you want to reassess. How do you want to reassess? Most important thing is you want to teach your findings. Teach back the material to the group. You need to teach back the material to the group, and that's actually how you learn. Some people have called this the Feynman method. Like Richard Feynman, named after Richard Feynman, the physicist. It's not really, I don't know exactly where this comes from. I think because Richard Feynman used to always teach back the material he learned, but it's not from Richard Feynman. It's a well-known, well-demonstrated technique in education theory, in social cognitive theory, that when you teach back material, you actually learn it much better. So when you're in the group, everybody should teach their findings, whether the assignment you did well or whether you made a lot of mistakes. Regardless, what you want to do is you want to teach back what you learned from the mistakes, and also give constructive feedback to everybody, right? Not criticism. This is really important for an effective study group. Strategy number 2 is have a clear learning goal and a clear study plan. Okay, so why is this so important? You have to have a clear learning goal and study plan. What does that mean, a clear learning goal? Think in terms of this. Have you ever heard of a SMART goal? It's S-M-A-R-T. That's the acronym, S-M-A-R-T. So S means stands for specific, M, measurable, A, attainable, R, realistic, T, timely. So you need to put together a study goal that's actually tangible. So for instance, I'll just give you an example of what people do. All right. And we're all guilty of it at some point in time. Have you ever made a goal, right? Let's say you're like, oh, I want to start a side hustle. Oh, I want to like do this or that, and I want to make more money or whatever. Have you ever had this goal, quote unquote? Okay, I'm going to make more money. I want to learn how to make money selling stuff online. Guess what? The reason you might be failing at that goal is because it's not a learning goal. It's not a learning goal at all. It is not a learning goal at all. So what a learning goal would look like in that case would be, I want to learn how to earn $3,000 in the next 6 months with a product that will give me an 85% margin in the apparel space and selling it on Amazon. Boom. That is a very specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timely goal with respect to that specific instance. So we always want to have an endpoint that we're working toward, and then we can design the study plan. So what if you don't know how to design the study plan? Well, what if you don't know how to design that? Okay, here's a tip for designing the study plan. Get together with your group. Get together with the study group I mentioned. Before you even start together, and this is a big mistake people make with study groups. And I just have experience with 2 people I'm working with my Life Navigator system, where they're working on cold calling. And I'm like, okay, you guys need to get together and actually weekly practice cold calling together. Like, don't just think about it in your head. You need to actually get together, invest that time, right? Invest in yourself, right? That's my whole motto. Get together, invest the time, and workshop it together. And people say, oh, I don't want to do that. That's so much work. Well, then you're not going to achieve your goal. It's just very simple. You're not going to achieve your learning goal then. So you need to put in the work to do that. And before you even go forward having sessions with your study group, you need to have that study plan laid out. So get something together. Of course, once again, the ideal thing is to have a coach or a tutor to guide you through creating a study plan. And again, that is something that we do in our Life Navigator system. But if you don't have somebody guiding you to be able to do that, then that's okay. The next best thing is brainstorm with your study group, right? So strategy number 3. Okay, you guys are going to love this. Strategy number 3 of top performers is interleaving. Interleaving, what is interleaving? Well, here's a mistake that many people make. And you see on the screen here, or those of you who are watching this on YouTube live stream, you see on the screen, derivative, integral, sales skills, multiple sales skills here, right? You see these on the screen, and the mistake that many people make is that they create the sales. They work on one sales skill, right? Let's say active listening. Okay, right? We see on the screen here, active listening. That's a sales skill, and then they'll practice another skill, product knowledge and confidence, and then maybe lead building is another skill that they'll work on. And the biggest mistake that I've seen people make with learning and why they really fail is they're working on one skill set at a time. They're working on one of these skill sets at a time. And of course, you need to work individually on skills in order to build them. But eventually what you need to do is you need to combine them. So once you've mastered one at a time, one after another in your study plan, somewhere in your study plan, you should have a period of time where you work on 2 or 3 all at the same time. The analogy to this in academics would be if, let's say, you're taking a physics class. And if you know anything about physics, it's okay if you don't know anything about physics. I'm just using an example here. But let's say you have some problem that involves integration, right? And then you have another one that involves taking derivatives. And then you have another one that's like an electromagnetics problem. And then there's a mechanics problem. Well, if you're preparing well, you should combine them. You should do one problem from this topic, one problem from this topic, and combine them. That's called interleaving. That is something, if you want to look it up, that's a proven approach to learning that whether you're learning high income skills like sales, marketing, coding, practical skills or you are learning academic skills, this is a proven strategy that's going to help you hands down. Let's get into the fourth strategy. Strategy 4 of top performers is to distinguish between low-hanging fruit and high-hanging fruit. Now, you see, those of you who are on the YouTube live stream, you see the fruit tree here. And why do I use this as an analogy? With all my students, with everybody I work with in our Life Navigator program, with everybody I have ever coached or tutored, I have used this analogy because people also make this big mistake and they don't identify the strengths. So the simple example would be on a test, right? I say to a student, well, why are you working on all of these hard problems here? Why are you working on all these hard ones right here? They say, well, I really need to work on these. I really need to master these. Well, are the easy ones the same number of points as the hard ones? Well, yes. Sometimes they're not. But yes, okay, then let's look at the low-hanging fruit. It's easier to pick the lowest hanging fruit from a fruit tree, right? Than the high one, than to climb up the tree and pick up the high fruit, right? So work on mastering things that are within our field of strength first. And I want to take a look at what this means in business too. So let's talk about what it means in business too. So many people think that in order to launch a business, in order to choose peace. Yes, from Scotland. Thank you so much. I know you have been a valued follower for a while. I really appreciate your support. Hey, from the US. So, and thanks for joining us from Scotland. I have to visit sometime. I've heard lots of great things about it. So here is, what was I going to say? Yeah, in business and career, know when and what to outsource. A lot of people think I need to know everything. Oh, in order to build a business or to do a side hustle, I need to know every aspect of it, right? And that's what happens when you get into any kind of business or side hustle. Very quickly, you start to realize, oh, damn, like I need to learn so many things. There are so many things I don't know how to do. Like, what do I do? Like, where do I start? I need to know marketing, sales, logistics. I need to know, staffing. I need to know, like, there are lots of things. So where do we begin that? Well, know what's in your field of strengths. And I want you guys to all check out this book. I'm going to tell you a book, write down the book title. I'm going to give you the book title now. It's called StrengthsFinder 2.0. It's by Clifton Strengths. So Clifton, which is just the company. So check out the book. It's StrengthsFinder 2.0. And what it does is it actually really helps you work through what are your strengths and then what are your weaknesses. And then what's the difference between the strengths and weaknesses? What do you then have to outsource in order to achieve your goals, right? So know what to outsource. You can't do everything yourself. If you do everything yourself, so identify the 20% of the activities that generate 80% of the results. That's what we want to do, and invest more time on those activities, right? We call it doubling down, right? Double down on the things that work the best. And I always talk about this in my Life Navigator program with people, and we've gotten some amazing results in terms of like revenue generation, very concrete results. It's amazing using just that mindset. So in other domains, know what the easiest questions or points are, except that you don't need to know every question. Some things you will just need to know good enough knowledge. And here's another book that I want to recommend to you all. It's called The First 20 Hours by Josh Kaufman. Josh Kaufman is amazing. He also has another book called The Personal MBA, where if you're trying to learn business, this is a great resource. But The Personal MBA is a great book, but his First 20 Hours is a great book too, because he makes this point, this very important point. You don't need to master every skill. We need to have a working knowledge of a decent number of skills in order to succeed, but we don't need to master every skill. So the StrengthsFinder 2.0 plus the first 20 hours, those 2 books will really get you on a good course to know which strengths, what are your strengths, where do you need to double down, what skills do you need to master, and then what skills do you need to kind of just develop a basic proficiency in. If you do that, you will stop being so scattered in trying to figure out, how do I do everything in my business, in my career, how do I level up, right? Your energies will be focused. And who can agree on here that sometimes our energies are focused? And then strategy number 5, and if I actually don't have time today, but later, another time, I probably will just have a whole live stream on how to use AI to learn effectively, like what prompts to use, how to do all this stuff. And if you haven't subscribed to me on YouTube, or you're not, or you guys on TikTok, if you're not following me currently, go ahead and follow if you want to catch that live stream on how to use AI to level up in your career, to learn things faster, to even be your one-to-one tutor. AI can do that, generative AI, if you use the right prompts. So to help you build your study plan, use AI to help you build your study plan. Use AI to help explain why you got certain questions wrong or your suboptimal results. So identify, and it will also help you identify your strengths, trends in your strengths and weaknesses. How can you do that? Well, academically, it's easy. You upload your papers, you take a photo of all your practice sets and everything you got wrong that's graded, upload it there, and give it the prompt. Okay, what strengths do I seem to have? What weaknesses do I seem to have? Where do I need to work on the most? Brilliant, right? Beautiful. And if you're doing coding or sales or any number of the other skills, then guess what? You can use some similar, whatever material you have, your spreadsheets. You should be tracking things. If you're doing sales, marketing, business, you should be tracking things. You should have spreadsheets. Upload your spreadsheets right to ChatGPT. Ask it to analyze what are some trends here that are positive. And I'm just going to end with this. If you really want to work with me one-on-one, I would love to help you really level up. And here's our Life Navigator system. We've had so many tremendous results just after launching in the first 3 months. We've already had so many amazing results, like tangible results with people leveling up in their skills, creating more income. Lance, his first $8,000 in our program in the first 2 months. So amazing stuff. And there are 3 phases of this program. One is what I call Telos Discovery, where we develop a customized personal development plan. Number 2 is Skill Mastery, where we get together your customized curriculum and study plan. And then number 3 is Project Completion, where we actually connect you strategically to the right resources and people to make whatever goal you have, whether that's a career goal, whether that's an entrepreneurial goal, whether that's an academic goal. We help connect you to strategic people and resources to make that happen. So if you're on TikTok, feel free to click the link in my bio for more information on that. If you're on YouTube, here is actually the page, the link for that. You can also see the link in the description. I am pasting that right now, so you can click that. And if you actually are not sure whether you want to start yet with us, which is just crazy. It's it's $97 per month. It's crazy. Usually you'd have to pay $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for something like this. I am trying to make this really affordable and approachable for everybody. So hold on, let me just get this link. Okay, cool. And you guys can, hold on. Let me just paste this. So this is the booking link. If you just want to have a call with me and you want me to basically prove it to you, like how this works, and that this works for you for free, we'll get in a Zoom. I'll help you build out your study plan. I'll help you build out your whole plan, customized plan for whether that's, building a business, getting better grades, working, whatever your goal is. We will build that plan out. And then from there, you can decide, hey, do I really want to follow this plan with you? And does this sound good to me? Right? If not, that's cool too. Yeah, thanks. Choose Peace. Looking forward to having you on my YouTube channel as well. Yeah, if that sounds good to you, then click that link, guys. And worst case, you leave with your own customized plan. So thank you guys, for everybody who joined me on YouTube. Thank you guys, everybody who joined me on TikTok. If you want more tips like this, subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you want more tips like this and you want more content like this and you love what this is about, then follow me on if you're on TikTok. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your day.